Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maryam, and in today's video I will be talking all about my iPad Pro 2020. If you've watched my last video, you'd know that I recently upgraded from the iPad 2019 to the iPad Pro 2020. So throughout this video I will try to point out some key differences between the two iPads. There aren't many, of course, but I'll just point them out for the people who are deciding between getting the cheaper iPad, which is the iPad 2019, or getting the iPad 2020, which is noticeably much more expensive. First off, I'll say that I love my iPad. It has saved me so much time and it's just so convenient as a university student, but I do think that it's very expensive. So if you are looking for an alternative that is much cheaper, I would say the iPad 2019 does the exact same job as this if you're just looking for an iPad to help you with note-taking and doing your assignments. But besides that, the main difference that I found between the two iPads is that this one's much faster. Like opening my docs on Goodnotes and just opening apps in general is much faster. And of course the camera has upgraded. I don't know how much I'll use it, to be honest, but I mean, it's nice to have, I guess. Also, I would say that the second generation pencil is much lighter. The first generation Apple Pencil for the iPad 2019 is a bit heavier, but it's not very noticeable. Also, I really like the key feature where if you double tap, you can switch from pencil to eraser or anything you choose. You can just go to setting and change that. With the iPad, I've almost gone completely paperless, except for the fact that I like having a physical planner. So if you've watched my day in my life video, I'll link it up here, you know that I like to use my physical planner to just write everything down for the day. It just keeps me more accountable for all the tasks I have for the day, and I just prefer it more than going on an app or like Google Calendar and like writing it down and then having to open the app to see what I have to do. Whereas with the physical planner, I can just have it right beside me and just look, okay, that's what I gotta do next. Another reason why I also really like my iPad is that as an online student, I'm in my room all day sitting at the same chair. So once in a while, I like to go to my sister's room or to the family room to do my homework. And instead of bringing my textbook with me and like all my notebooks and sheets and everything, I just carry this and everything's on it. So it's super convenient and saves me a lot of time. Now that I've explained why I love my iPad so much, I will be going through the apps I use on my iPad and more specifically how I use Goodnotes, because that's the app that I use to take notes. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through each one of my apps. I don't have a lot of like social media apps on the iPad because I wanted it to be for school, and to make it less distracting, I removed all of like Instagram, Facebook, everything like that, so I don't have any social medias. But I use it for school. Right, so this is my iPad. I got this case from Amazon and I'll make sure to link it down below. I just have the wallpaper that came with the iPad. I didn't really like to change it. I don't know, I just like this wallpaper, so I kept it the way it is. And then when I log in, this is my first page. I only have one page of apps. I like to keep everything in one page, one screen. I have my widgets on the side, really nice. And the wallpaper here is also one of the Apple ones that came with the iPad. I really like this wallpaper. I'm gonna start screen recording now. So at the top, I have calendar, which like I said, I don't really use because I have my physical planner. And next is settings, nothing too important. Then I have YouTube over here. Make sure to subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. Little plug. Then I have everything related to photos. So I have photos, camera, Fonto, which is an app where I do most of like my titles for my thumbnails. Then I have Sketchbook, is where I do all like my thumbnails for YouTube. And then I have a folder where I just threw everything that came with the iPad in here. I don't really use any of these apps. Next is a folder where I keep everything related to like Google Drive and OneNote, Google Sheets. I also have Zoom and Files here. And then I have Notion. To be honest, I don't really use Notion as much as I wanted to. I just put everything that is due for all my classes here, but I don't really follow it because, like I said, I have my physical planner that I use to do this. Next is Duo Mobile, which is a password authentication for my university. So every time I log into my portal, it sends me a push password that I have to confirm. Then I have Piazza, which is a discussion forum for my math and computer science courses. And then I have Discord. I don't really use Discord. I just have it because a lot of group chats are here. Next is Slack. I also don't really use Slack, but it's a place where a lot of hackathons, discussion forums happen. And then I have GitHub. I use GitHub on my desktop, but it's also nice to have here. Next, I created 3 shortcuts on the shortcut app for websites that I use often for university, but they don't have an app, so I kind of created an app. So the first one I have is for Crowdmark, and this is where I submit all my assignments for my math courses. Next, I linked my personal website here just in case if I ever wanted to check it out or something, but I have it here, super cute. And then I have my CS135 website for my computer science course. So this is where everything is posted, assignments, lectures, everything like that. And then there are these 6 apps at the bottom, and these are the 6 apps I use the most often. So we first have Pulse, which is where all my university classes portals are. So I have one for each course. And then I have Books, which is where I keep all my books and textbooks. The most recent book I've read is The Kite Runner. I would recommend it if you've not read it yet. It's a really good book, but I read that 3 months ago and now I'm not reading any books. I guess I'm reading textbooks instead, which is really sad, but I have 2 of my textbooks, and what I really like about the iPad is if I open the textbook, I can have it on one side and then my notes on the other side, so it's super convenient to have 2 screens open so I can refer to my textbook and then also the assignment questions, which is really useful, and I use that feature a lot. Then we have Messages, where I talk to my friends, and then we have Spotify. The most recent album I've been listening to is JB's album. JB is great, I love him. And then we have Outlook, which is, I connected it to my university email, so I check that very often. And then I have Safari, and then I have Goodnotes. This is where I do most of my note-taking. This app is awesome. I really like it, and I'll just go through how I organize everything really quick. So first I have 2 folders. One is extra and one is first year. In my extra I have like random stuff, like designs, my resume, random notes, YouTube notes, everything like that. And then in my first year folder, this is where I store everything. So I have a folder for every course: communications, computer science, math, my calculus math course, and then my algebra math course, and then economics. So in my communications course, it's empty because I do most of my work on Google Drive. And then I have computer science, and I broke it up into 3 different notebooks, I guess. So I have one for just writing pseudocode before I actually do my assignment questions. This is very helpful to just jot down everything before I actually start coding. It has helped me a lot with understanding the concept better before I actually start programming. Next, I have a notebook with all my CS lecture notes. So here I just write everything that I've key ideas in the lectures. As you can tell, I don't really take aesthetic notes. I wish I did, but I just make sure that I understand everything and the main ideas are in the notes. Next is this other folder for my computer science course. We're learning Racket, and Racket is a pretty wacky language. So I have this here to just write down the syntax of the language because it's very different from what I've usually coded in. So I have that there and I visit that often. And then for my Math 137 course, which is my calculus course, I split it up into lecture notes, midterm, and assignment folders. So in here I have broken it up into the 3 chapters that we have. There is more, of course. I'm not done the course yet, but I broke it up into 3 different notebooks. And then I have 2 random notebooks, one for practice questions where I just do a lot of practice questions, and then one for my grade 12 calculus cheat sheet. So this has all the formulas I've learned in high school. And then in my midterm folder, I have everything related to midterm, and the iPad's really nice for practicing for the midterm. So I downloaded the midterm document, and then on Goodnotes, I'm able to just write over on top of it, and instead of printing, I can just open it here. Then I have assignments, and I just ordered them because every week we do have a different assignment, so I just broke them up into sections and for every week. And then for Math 135, very similar assignments, midterm, and lecture notes. Here I like to keep all my lecture notes on one notebook instead of splitting it up into the different chapters. And for econ, I just have one document where I keep all my notes. And as a computer science student, I have a lot of math courses, and the iPad is very beneficial for those courses because the way our courses are structured, we have a lot of assignments and it's very proof based. So for a lot of proofs, it can take up to like a full page of writing up my solutions. And a lot of time I like to first write a draft copy and then a good copy. And with Goodnotes, I'm able to save a lot of time because instead of rewriting the whole thing, I can just use the lasso tool, which I'll show right here. So this is a lasso tool, and I can just move it around instead of rewriting the whole thing again. I also really like how I can take screenshots of my assignment questions and put them at the top of the page and then write my solution. What is also very helpful is the shape tool. So I really like how I can just draw shapes really easily, and I'll just draw a parabola because who doesn't like parabolas? And then what's really helpful and useful is like moving it around and shaping it the way that you want. I'll also label it here, so 1, 3 for instance. And I also really like the eraser tool, so I can just erase easily or just double tap on my pencil and I can just go back to pencil. I usually like to use the dotted white paper. That's my go-to. And I use the 0.45 pencil. And that's basically it. So the iPad has helped me a lot with saving time, and as a CS kid, I have a lot of math courses, and this iPad is very useful and has saved me so much time. Alright, and that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Overall, I really like my iPad 2020, but if you guys have any questions, leave them down below or message me on Instagram. I love helping you guys and answering your questions. But that's it for today's video, and see you later. Bye. I also really like the iPad because as an online student, I'm always in my room on the same chair. So sometimes once in a